Okay, we're pretty close to the 2 o'clock hour, so we're going to get started here with the Challenge History Report product demonstration. I hope everybody was able to log in okay and is able to hear me okay through their computer speakers. If you have any questions, comments, concerns during the presentation, please feel free to use the chat function, which is featured on the middle right-hand side of your screen, and or the Q&A feature. We have panelists on board with us who are willing and able to answer most all of your questions about the Challenge History Report. And if we don't have the answer for your question right now, we will do our best to get you the answer in a timely fashion. So please use those two functions to communicate with us during the presentation. I'm now going to start. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. We're excited to share with you TASA's new expert evaluation tool, the Challenge History Report. Before we dive into the presentation, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Matt Hyde, and I'm the Director of Business Development and Client Services for the TASA Group. I would also like to take care of some housekeeping issues. If at any point you have a question, as I just mentioned, please feel free to use the Q&A or chat feature, which is found on the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Our panelists will try to answer your questions as they are posed. A recording of this presentation will be emailed to all attendees approximately 1 hour after the conclusion of the presentation. In addition, we will post a link to the recording in the Knowledge Center section of our website. To start off, I'm going to launch a poll that I hope you'll all take a second to answer. It should appear on your screen right now. And it has two questions. Have there ever been challenges to one of your expert's testimony? Or have you challenged the testimony of your opponent's expert? If the answer is yes, then the Challenge History Report should be part of your expert evaluation process. We have the results coming in right now, so I'll pause for a couple seconds and I'll get everybody the results. Okay, looks like a couple people are finishing up here. Once I get everybody to finish up, we'll talk about the results. Okay, it looks like about 50% of our attendees have had their expert's testimony challenged, and about 50% of our attendees have challenged their opponent's expert testimony, which will give us a good launching point. The Challenge History Report gives attorneys on both sides a competitive advantage. It allows you to perform surveillance on your opponent's strategy and avoid negligent retention claims from dissatisfied clients. So what is the Challenge History Report? The Challenge History Report provides clients access to information associated with reported and unreported evidentiary gatekeeping cases. The Challenge History Report tracks both federal and state jurisdictions dating back to 1993 and is updated daily. The Challenge History Report provides clients with an aggregate gatekeeping report, which includes case summaries and, where applicable, supporting documents such as briefs, motions to exclude, and case transcripts. I'm going to post on the screen very briefly an example of a TASA Challenge History Report. Just bear with me for 1 second. And you should see the sample history report appear on your screen. As you can see, it appears in a PDF document. And at the top of the screen, you'll see the first case that the Challenge History Report pulls data from on this expert. Now, I have blacked out the names of the experts in this challenge history report for proprietary purposes, but as you will see, it'll give you a nice summary, the expert's challenge name, the discipline in which they were challenged, the jurisdiction, the plaintiffs, the defendants, the docket number, the citation, the area of law, and the representative counsels. If I scroll down a little bit here, it'll also give you a summary of the case. So you can read through kind of the case description, as I like to say. It also gives you the rendered opinion of the judge. So in just a couple minutes or a couple seconds, I'll scroll down and you'll see that there's an opinion section. And all this appears in the challenge history report that you can receive from TASA. Okay? Now let me go back to my screen, and I want to see if there are any questions out there about the challenge history report before we move on. Okay, I don't see anything. So I'm going to move to the next slide. Several times during the presentation, I have referenced gatekeeping authorities. For the purposes of the challenge history report, a gatekeeping authority is defined as, and excuse me for reading from my notes, the seminal decision or rule of evidence that defines or interrupts the standards for admissibility of expert witness testimony for the corresponding jurisdiction. The challenge history report currently tracks 165 federal and state gatekeeping authorities. On the federal level, the challenge history report tracks Daubert, Fry, Joyner, Kumo, Schaefer, and Weisgram, and the federal rules that appear on the right-hand side of the table. We have a full list of federal and state gatekeeping authorities tracked by the challenge history report posted in the challenge history report section of our website. For the purposes of this webinar, I will show you the document right now. You should see the document appear in a couple seconds. Your screen will go green and then the document will appear. As you can see, the TASA challenge report tracks all the federal cases and federal rules, as well as the state gatekeeping authorities in each state. So if I were to scroll down, we start with the A's and we would move through the states alphabetically, and you can see all the different gatekeeping authorities that the TASA challenge history report tracks. I'll just scroll down slowly so you can see that it is a complete list of state authorities. And again, this entire list is available on the TASA website, and I will take you to the challenge history report section of the website in just a second. Okay, we're back at the screen now, and I want to encourage anybody who has a chat or a question to please pose it using the Q&A feature or the chat feature during the presentation. During the explanation of the challenge history report, I mentioned that the reports offer clients information on reported and unreported cases. For the unreported cases, the challenge history report aggregates data from case law databases, brief and pleading databases, docket sheet databases, and the U.S. Courts PACER system, litigation reports, jury verdict reports, and court websites. So, we've now learned about how we produce the reports. You may be wondering, how can you add the challenge history report to your expert evaluation toolkit? It's simple. I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to learn about a challenge history report, request the challenge history report, and download a challenge history report. Your screen's going to go green again for a couple seconds. I'm going to take you to the TASA website, www.tasanet.com. Just give it a few seconds to load up. Okay, you now should have the TASAnet website on your screen. Okay? To order a challenge history report, you can scroll down to the lower right-hand corner of the screen and click on Click Here to order or learn more about the challenge history report from TASA. Okay, if we click on that once, it will take us to the challenge history report section of the website. Just give it a second here. It's going to load up. Sometimes the system can be a little bit slow that we're using for this presentation. But you now have the challenge history report in front of you. Okay? Now, as I said, this contains all the content that we've gone over in today's presentation. Okay? You can click right here to view the sample report that I put on the screen a couple minutes ago. Okay? You can click here in the middle of the page to view all the gatekeeping authorities that the TASA Challenge History Report tracks. And most importantly, over here on the right-hand side, under Challenge History Report, you can use this section to request a report and or download a report. To request a report, it's quite simple. Click Request a Report. If you already have an existing TASA username and password, you'll be able to enter it on the right-hand side of the screen as soon as the screen turns over. There we go. So as you can see, there are two sections. On the left, if you've not requested an expert over the Internet through the TASA website, you'll have to create a username and password. It's simple. Just enter your first name, last name, email address, a password of your choosing, the code shown to the left of this box, and you agree to the terms of use. Click Sign Up. If you already have a username and password, for the purposes of this webinar, I'll be using a fictitious username and password that I created before the event. And I'm going to enter it on the screen and log in. And in just a second, it'll take you to the Challenge History Report request form. There we go. As you can see, it will auto-populate your first and last name into that form once you have created the username and password. We then ask you to, and it will also include your email address. We will then ask you to enter your firm name and a telephone number where you can be reached in case there are any problems with the Challenge History Report. We have not run into any problems, but we want to be able to contact you in the best way to iron out any details that there may be. We then ask for the expert's first name and for the expert's last name. For the purposes of demonstration, I'll be using Joe Smith, and Mr. Smith is an aviation expert. So I choose from the drop-down. You can see all the areas of expertise that TASA offers are entered, or most of the areas of expertise that TASA offers are entered there. Okay? And after that, you need to accept or not accept the terms of use. Now, if you do not accept the terms of use, we will not be able to process your challenge history report. The terms of use can be found by clicking on terms of use in the center of the registration form. I've already read the terms of use, so I'm going to accept them and submit the registration form. Okay. It caught me because I did not enter my firm name and or a telephone number. The system will not let you process your challenge history report request unless all the information on the form is filled out. So my firm name for the purposes of this demonstration is TASA, and my telephone number are all ones. I'll now hit Submit Request, and I got a nice message that pops up once I submit the request properly. Thank you. Your challenge history report has been submitted successfully. We will email you once the report is ready for download. I'm now going to switch back to the PowerPoint presentation. We'll be back to the TASA website, so we'll give them time to process our report on Joe Smith on aviation. Then we'll go back in a couple minutes, and we'll try to download it. Okay, we're now back at the PowerPoint presentation. As I went over briefly on the website, to request a challenge history report, visit tasanet.com/challengehistoryreport.aspx, or you can click on the direct link located on the lower right-hand side of the TASAnet website. You'll need to create or enter your username and password, fill out the required information, and click Submit. Within one business day, you'll receive an email notification with instructions on how to pay and download the challenge history report. We'll give them time to upload ours into the system, but while we're waiting, we'll go over some of the benefits of requesting a challenge history report from TASA. There's one price for all the documents, including the supporting documents, including the case summaries, the briefs, the motions to exclude, and the transcript. We have a very talented staff that's been trained on how to perform these searches and compile the reports. Your requests are processed within one business day. You will receive an email notification when the report is ready for download. You will have to pay by credit card for the report, but it's very easy and it allows you to access the report at any time, including the supporting documents. We have placed a heavy emphasis on the unreported decision not found in standard case law data. And as I went over briefly in a couple slides ago, we look at case law databases, brief and pleading databases, docket sheet databases, and the U.S. court PASER system, litigation reports, jury verdict reports, and court websites. Okay. I'm going to go now back and see if our report is ready for us to download. So just bear with me for 1 second. I'm going to go back to sharing my web browser with you, so your screen will go green for a second, and then we'll be taken to the TASAnet website for the challenge history report download. Okay, we're now back at the challenge history report section of the website. Okay. We previously went to this right-hand corner of the website to request a report. Okay. In the email that you get with the notification that your challenge history report is ready for download, it will give you a direct link to go to the download site. For the purposes of demonstration, I'm going to go through the website. So to go and download your report, just click Download Reports. Okay, I'm already logged in because I just requested the report. You'll probably have to enter your username and password if you're going from the email notification. Now don't worry, because if you forget your username and password, we have a link on the login page that asks you, forget your login information. Click that link and supply us with your email, and we will send you your password automatically. Okay, so Joe Smith. We have him ready to go. Click on Pay to Download. And you'll be prompted to enter your credit card information online. This is a secure site. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner here, we have a little security lock on it. We've taken steps to secure that all the data that is supplied over the internet is as secure as it possibly can be. Okay, I'm not going to enter my credit card information because I honestly don't want everybody to see my American Express number. But enter your credit card information and click Submit Payment, and you'll be taken back to a screen that looks like this. And next to your expert's discipline, where it says Download Report, you'll see that the Pay to Download has changed to Download. If I click on Download, it will open up a PDF for me, and I will be able to either print it, send it to a colleague via email, or save it to my desktop. Okay. The nice thing about the system that we have set up is at any time, I'm going to log out of here. Okay, just give me 1 second. Just click log out. At any time, you can access the challenge history report section of the website with your TASA username and password. Okay, and you can view any archived reports that you may have. Let me go back to I have to actually go back to the download section. I'm going to log out of here real fast. Okay, I'm going to go home, TASAnet. Just give me 1 second. So if we go back from the website, again, lower right-hand corner, click here to order or learn more. Okay, click on download report. Just give it a second to load. And enter your username and your password. And as you can see, I can view all of the reports that I've requested and where they are, if I've already paid for them or if the reports are waiting for me to pay for. Okay, I'm going to go back to the presentation now. I'm going to check and see if anybody has any questions. Let me open up the Q&A here. And I don't see any questions. Do any of our attendees have any questions? You can use the chat feature or the Q&A feature to ask our panelists questions. Okay. If there are no questions, I'd like to wrap things up. I know people are very busy, and we've been talking for about 20 minutes now. I'd planned to go about a half an hour, so we're well in the range of the anticipated time schedule. Thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to join us today. If you have any questions about the Challenge History Report or any of TASA's services, please feel free to contact me, Matt Hyde, at mhyde@tasanet.com, or you can send an email to experts@tasanet.com, and we will be happy to answer your question and put you in touch with one of our referral specialists who will be able to answer your question. If you'd like to learn more about the Challenge History Report or order one, please click on the Challenge History Report section of the website. That's www.tasanet.com/challengehistoryreport.aspx, or as I showed earlier, you can go to www.tasanet.com and click on the lower right-hand corner of the screen under the Challenge History Report from TASA section. Just click on the link below it, and it will take you right to the page. Finally, this webinar, along with all our other client-focused webinars, is posted in the attorney section of the Knowledge Center. If you go to the Knowledge Center through tasanet.com, and in the upper navigation pane, click on Knowledge Center, then click on Presentations and For Attorneys. We do have a question that I'd like to share with the group very quickly. If an expert uses more than one name or spelling, what is the best way to enter it? That's a good question, because actually built into the system are a couple checks, okay? So if you have an expert whose formal name is John Smith, and he goes by Jack Smith, okay, you can enter in, we prefer to have the name that the person should be on record as going by. So usually in the legal process, I would imagine that most experts would want to go by their God-given legal name of John Smith. But for instance, if the expert goes by Jack Smith, we have a second check, because if you remember on the registration form, we ask for the expert's discipline. That allows us to look into the database and see if there are Jack Smiths or Smiths, we can just search on the last name. If there are Smiths that come up under that area of expertise, and if they have the name of John or Jack in the database and they come in under that area of expertise, we would presume that that is the correct expert. However, if that were the case, we would also probably contact you to see if some of the cases that we're finding in our database matched up with the cases that you are familiar with the expert working on. Most of the time, however, we can narrow it down just by having the expert's last name and his or her area of expertise or discipline. Are there any other questions? And I'd be happy to go over that with anybody in more detail if they have more questions about that. But we found in a brief period that we've been working with it that we can narrow down with an expert's last name and the expert's discipline. Do we have any other questions before we leave today? Oh, great. Hold on for 1 second. I think we may have some other questions here. I was just handed a note by one of my colleagues who said we should actually have the first initial and the last name and the expert's discipline, and then we will be able to find it no problem. Other than that, I think, unless there are any other questions for anybody who's in attendance right now, I would encourage you to please visit the Challenge History Report section of the website. Again, we see it as giving our clients, a competitive advantage. It really helps you to perform due diligence on your experts and or your opponent's experts. It helps you perform surveillance on your opponent's strategy. If you know the experts that they may be calling, you may be able, and the Challenge History Report data that goes with those experts, you may be able to figure out where the client is going with the case. And finally, you really want to try to avoid negligent retention claims by clients. If you know all the information about the expert, that will help to minimize that risk. We encourage you to please visit the website, let us know what you think, and look for other webinars from TASA in the future. Thank you for your time today. As I said in the introduction, I will be sending out all the information that was part of this presentation in about an hour or so. We'll also be posting it on our website. Please feel free to pass this along to colleagues, friends, enemies. We just want to get the word out because we think this is a great tool. Thank you again for your time. We look forward to hearing from you in the future.